When you step up to serve, it doesn't mean that you're perfect. Nobody can be perfect. It's serving from exactly where you are and saying that, my imperfection and then the fact that I am in the process of evolution every single day, which all human beings should be and are, otherwise we're not here anymore. If I'm in the process of growth and evolution every single day, that makes me a better teacher. That makes me a better person to serve because I understand that I'm not healed. I understand that I'm constantly in the process of. And yes, I might have walked through a few things, a few more times, or maybe I have this other perspective that is of value in this world to give perspective to other people. However, like I still have my own stuff, and I met up with a client recently and I was sharing with her a story about, the process of Nolan and I breaking up and then getting back together. She was talking about dating and anyways, and she was like, Steph, you're somebody who I look up to. And I forget that you're also human. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. It's like I desire to be human because if I'm not human, I'm on a pedestal and I don't want to be on a pedestal because I'm going to fall from it, and it's like, we've seen that in this industry. We've seen that in our own circles. And you have to remember that no matter who it is that you're learning from, they still have their own stuff. And that's what actually makes them a better teacher because it's not this illusion. It's like you look at the people who are like, yes, I had my spiritual awakening and now I'm healed and I know everything. Then that you're like, oh, wow, well, you got some more to learn because you're going to have a rude awakening at some point and realize that there's a lot more, right? And there's that lifelong evolution. I always tell my clients, like, buckle in. Because this happens throughout our entire life. And if we constantly use the fact of like, oh my God, there's a whole new pattern that I didn't even realize was there. And now I'm seeing this about myself. If you use that as the reason for why you can't teach, you'll never teach a day in your life. Or why you can't serve doesn't even have to be teaching, just serving your own gifts, right? If you use the fact that, oh yeah, another thing, I realize that this is another way that I am my own worst enemy. If you use that against yourself, you will constantly be taking away the wisdom that the universe is giving you to be able to share with others, and living in that space of being wrong. I had a realization the other day where I was like, if I feel wrong doing this, I'm going to feel wrong my entire life. That's not how I want to live. I don't want to live in the space of that's wrong, and it brought me back to A Course in Miracles, which is one of the first spiritual metaphysical texts that I ever dove into on my own journey of awakening and growth. And I was reading a part, and I can't remember the exact words. They were saying basically, miracles are like breathing. That miracles are the truth of our world and of this life, that there's constantly magic around. And I look at the nature that's around. That's a freaking miracle. That the trees sprout out of the ground and have these most incredible leaves that are all like geometric looking and somehow source their food from the earth. And then the earth provides more food. Like it's insane. It's an actual miracle. Like us being here, this is an actual miracle. And then you look at, how somebody interacts with another person on the street and maybe they smile at each other. That's a miracle. Like miracles are all around us just as much as everything that's wrong. And for the high achiever who's so good at finding a challenge and creating a solution, that's an incredible part of your mind. But the flip side of it, because everything has a light and shadow side, is when then you start to see everything that's wrong within the world. Everything that's wrong rather than all of the miracles, right? And it creates that dysregulation within your nervous system where when you create from everything is wrong, that's one way. I feel like the masculine can do that a little bit easier. Where like Nolan listens to David Goggins. If you've ever, David Goggins, right? Where it's like, fuck how you feel. Get up and fucking do it. Yeah. Which I love it. But I'm like, that doesn't work for me. I gotta feel it, And so it's like, if we're constantly looking at everything that's wrong, that's a very dysregulated space to create from. And it's not when you're in your heart coherence creating the absolute magic. And so you have to be willing to get to that place of deep surrender which then opens you up to the miracle of life that's around you. And it could be in the smallest thing. It could be in the sun shining. It could be on your, in your feet, on the grass. You and I cry with trees all the time. Like, it can be in the smallest things that you open to the miracle that is this life. And you start shifting your perspective into, how can I see the good that is all around me? How can I see how life is always working out for me? How can I see how I am safe and protected more than I've ever been? How can I see all of that in life around me? Create from that place. And you might get to the same place as if you were to do it from everything is wrong, but it's going to feel different. And people are going to resonate with it so much more in a different way than if you're creating from the space of it being wrong. And you're going to feel better. It's like, I know for me, my body is the greatest marker of, like, if I am feeling like it's wrong, my body will feel it too. If I'm feeling like there's miracles and I'm safe, then my body will feel it too, and that can be the marker for it all.